In this video, we will go over how to create custom functions and scripts in Python. I'm using Jupyter Notebook over here. So let's get started. Let's say you would like to write a function to calculate some grades. So given some score, you would like your function to calculate the grade. Okay, if it's greater than 60, then it's a pass, or else it's a fail. Okay, so to do this, you first define your function name. So I'll call this grade calculator, and you need to specify your input in brackets, so score, and now you need to do something here, and finally you have to give back whatever is the output of the function, so return grade. Okay, so in this particular case, we'll just do the logic here. So if score is greater than or equal to 60, then grade equal to pass, else grade equal to fail. Okay, now if you would like to test your function, you need to call it. So if I type in grade calculator, this will only return that what's in memory. So grade calculator is a function. If you would like to call it, you need to use the parenthesis and provide it with some score. So let's put in some number, and if you run it, you will see the output. If you would like to store the output, you can create a variable to catch it. So my grade equal to okay. You could have functions with multiple inputs. So maybe instead of just having score, you want to also add some kind of course information. Instead of providing just the grade, you also want to have some kind of remark associated with the function. So you could do that by adding an input over here, so score and course, for example, or you could do grade. In the output, you could say grade and remarks or remark. Okay, or you could have functions which you do not have any kind of inputs. So you could have a function who only has some kind of input. So the print command is one such function, and you can test this out. So if I type in print hello and try to capture the result into a variable called x and try to print x, you can see that x is none. So there's no output coming from the print function, for example. Okay. Now let's see how you can write this function in a file so that you can import it later into any other Python file. This is also quite straightforward to do. So in Jupyter, you can create a new text file. Again, you can use any text editor. It's just this convenient right now. So I'll create a text file here, and I'll call this my tools. So I'm gonna use this file to store all my functions. Okay, my tools. And then all I have to do is copy my function. Let me remove the extra stuff. So it's a single input, single output function now. So I'm just gonna copy this and paste it over here. Okay, and that's it. So now just save this, save. So now we have your function inside a script file, my tools. You can import this function into any script. Now all you have to just say is from my tools import grade calculator. Okay, you can restart it just to make sure everything is running. So restart and clear, and yep, run this, it should work as expected. Okay. Okay, now let's say you have a bunch of scores you want to convert into grades. So we have a CSV file of scores. So we'll import it using pandas. So import pandas as PD and data equal to pd.read. Again, after you type read, press tab in Jupyter and it'll show you all the options that you can read from. We have a CSV file, so I'm going to choose CSV and then provide it with the file name. Okay, score. Again, press tab again to autocomplete and so that you avoid any kind of spelling mistake. And then you can use the head command to show the first 5 rows, for example. Okay. Now you want to apply this function, the grade calculator, on all the scores in your table. Okay, if you see your table is print length of data. There's around 50 rows in your table. Okay, to do that, all you have to do is extract this column called scores and then apply your grade calculator function to that column. So to do that in pandas, you just say data and then extract the score column. So this is just the score column, and then you can just say dot apply, and you can apply a grade calculator function to it. So grade underscore calculator. Okay, if I run this, you will see that it has looked at the score and applied the grade calculator function to it and got the pass or fail values. Now if you would like to push this back into the same table, you can just say data and create a new column in it called grade equal to the result that comes from this line of code. Okay, again you can preview it. There you go. So you have added a new column, a new calculated column back into the Excel file, and you can now save it as well. So data.to CSV, and you can call this graded.csv. Okay, and if I run this, you should be able to see that there is a new graded CSV file which now has the pass or fail grade added to it. You will see this additional number that has been added. This is the index number that gets added automatically by default. If you don't want it, just add a keyword argument here called index equal to false. Okay, you might want to close this one. Run this again. Graded. Yep. Okay, so score and grade. Let's say you would like to put this in a Python file so you don't have to open Jupyter every time you want to run this grading script. So we can copy all this code into a text file. So let me do that here. So click on the home page and we'll create a new script file. It's a text file. We'll call this my script.py. We want to do the same thing that we did here, which is load a data frame called scores, then calculate the grade and then save it back into a file. Okay, so let's copy all the code. Okay, so I copied all the code. We don't need all of it. We don't really need to preview it. We just want the code to run and save. So these are the 3 lines that we are interested in. Read the file, apply the grade calculator to the score, save it as grade, and then save the final CSV file. Okay, so we just have to save this now. File, save. In order to run my script, you can kind of do this from Jupyter itself if needed. If you go back to the home page, you should see my script over here. To run this, you have to start a terminal. So click on new terminal, and you can see you're in that folder, and you can just type the command python and the file name. So my script. Okay, this is my script. Press enter. It'll take a while and then it should have executed. You should see the creation of the new file graded. Okay, again, to test this, let's delete this first. Delete the graded file. Okay, so we don't have any graded file now, but if you go back to your script and just run python my script, take a second, and then you have your new graded file which has the pass or fail information added to it. So this way, again, if you don't want to open Jupyter, you could do the following. You should go here to the folder and let's delete the graded file again. And you can go to the command window, open a terminal here by typing in cmd over here if you're on Windows. And then here, if your Python has been configured correctly, you should be able to access Python from your command window. If you type in Python, you should enter Python. Okay, Control Z to exit. If you don't have Python here, I'll show you another way, but let me just show you here first, Python and then my script. You see it takes a second, but you have your graded file over here now. Let's delete it. So if you don't have the command prompt, the terminal configured correctly, it has to do with environment variables. You can Google that part. The other option is if you have Anaconda installed, you can go to Anaconda prompt. Okay, and it's better to be inside the same folder. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back. I'm going to copy this directory. So copy. You're in the C drive now, and this is in a different drive. So I'll just say CD, change the directory, /D to make sure the computer knows we are changing the drive as well. And then in quotation marks, put your directory, press enter. Now it has changed into this folder. We are inside this folder. You can check for the files inside it. Just type in dir. You can see my script is there. And now you can just type in Python and my script. Okay, press enter. It'll take a second and then it should run and you should see the new file appear here. Okay, and if you have Python installed directly, like I said, you can just double click on my script as well. This should run it as well. Yeah, okay, so that's it.